Hello and welcome to another edition of the TheGreyVillain SportsCast. My name is Justin.
And I'm DJ.
And we are going to talk some NFL, Seahawks, 49ers, playoffs, and what's your favorite Skittle color? We'll kick it off this week.
Green apple.
There you have it. We'll kick it off this week with this week's upcoming games for the playoffs. First up, we have Tennessee at Houston. 1:25 start time. That is a big game. Can Tennessee keep it up?
I think Tennessee is going to pull this one off. They've got a lot to play for. They rested Derrick Henry specifically for this game last week. They knew that no matter what happened last week, that they still had this week to play for. So they rest Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is having a borderline MVP season. He has been their horse. He's been the reason why Tannehill is so good.
Yeah, it's been fun watching that Tennessee team to see if they can make it. Another team in the hunt is Oakland. They go to Denver also at 1:25 start time.
Chaos. I'm rooting for chaos. I want to see 4 teams and an 8-8, and let's see the tiebreakers rash their way out. I want to see Pittsburgh and Tennessee lose, and Indy and Oakland win. We got 4 teams at 8-8. Let's go. Start the chaos. I want to see people get pissed off because their teams didn't make it at 8-8. I love chaos.
Yeah, in this case, who knows how the tiebreaker's even going to work out. Yeah, so Pittsburgh.
I don't see Pittsburgh having any chance playing Baltimore. Baltimore is going to play RG3, so they don't have to go up against Lamar Jackson. So I suppose there's a chance, but Pittsburgh's offense is just so limited. They've got nothing to do besides sit there and try and score 15 points and hope their defense can hold.
Yeah, can Baltimore's defense hold out, though, against it? I mean, yeah, it's still Pittsburgh, but they can move the ball a little bit at times.
If Pittsburgh can get if they get a pick six or a fumble for a touchdown, then they got a shot. They've been right in their defense this whole season. That's why they are where they are. It's not because of any of the quarterback play. I mean, James Conner's out again, so he's only played 3 of the last. He's going to miss 6 out of the last 9 games this year, which is really unfortunate. Because that's that just doesn't help your quarterback situation when you don't have a running back and you got third string quarterback quality, possibly even fourth string quarterback quality that you're throwing out there.
Oh man, the AFC is a mess. I was really pulling for the Bills a couple weeks ago against the Patriots. I wanted them. I was really hoping
that would have caused even more chaos. We would have had some games this week where then New England and Buffalo could have been playing for a title and could have possibly dethroned the Patriots, which would have been awesome. But Bills folded in the fourth quarter, had a 10-point lead, and they lost. They have not been able to put it together. They beat all the really crappy teams, and they struggle against the quality teams. I mean, you look at their strength of victory, it's one of the lowest.
They'll learn how to win. That's kind of what it comes down to, is getting better. What is going to happen in the NFC East? The Eagles and the Cowboys.
Who is likely to pull the upset? Is it going to be the Giants or the Redskins? Who you got?
I'm going Giants.
You're going Giants, and the Giants have a better shot of beating the Eagles than the Redskins do against the hapless Cowboys.
Yes.
I'm going to go Dwayne Haskins here, baby. The Cowboys got nothing. I think they're flat. They've got nothing, and after getting beat by Philly, I just don't see them having anything to come back on. And this is the end of all the coaches in Dallas. Jerry Jones might as well just come down and be the coach, too.
I think he should.
Coach.
I think
so that way he can cry himself rivers all the way from the owner's box down to the sidelines. Jerry tears.
Oops.
Everybody loves Jerry tears. If you didn't grow up a Cowboys fan, you love Jerry tears, right?
It's the America's team thing. It's like, who said that you're the team? Can't stand that. Besides that, the NFC is mostly taken care of, except the late game, the Seahawks 49ers. Seahawks, one of the walking wounded at this point, with so many guys hurt.
That might be an understatement.
I'm not even sure. I don't think they're going to win.
It's going to be hard, especially if Joey Hunt doesn't play, and then you're depending on Posick or Phil Haynes at center. I mean, you are just so banged up. I mean, Dwayne Brown is out. You're down to your third string center. You're down to your fourth and fifth running backs. Malik Turner is not going to play, I don't believe, because he's not cleared the concussion protocol. So you're really asking a lot of maybe even someone like John Ursua to step up and be a contributor where he hasn't been that all year. And even you're asking a lot of like Turbin and Lynch, right? That's asking a lot. You're putting this all on Russell Wilson. Can you protect Russell Wilson? It's got to be better than it was against the Cardinals, because that was a mess in Arizona.
I'm not expecting to win this game. I'm just hoping that we come out of it healthy. If I could forfeit, I would. Just to be healthy. I'll take my chances. I'm in the playoffs already.
This is going to be one of the typical Seahawk games where it's going to come down fourth quarter, whoever has the ball last. You get a big plus getting Clowney back. You get Shaquille Griffin back. Quandre Diggs has been upgraded to questionable, where he was doubtful earlier in the week. If you can get those three back and you can get some turnovers, you've got a chance.
I don't think we have a chance. I think we're done.
I'm not trying to be a homer here, but the 49ers are banged up too, and I don't think that they're anything special. So if you get, like when you played the 49ers earlier and you got Jimmy G off his feet and got him happy feet, he's very ineffective.
Yeah, it's whether we can actually...
Can your cornerbacks play physical up front, jam them on the top of the route, so they can't throw those quick routes, and give Rasheem Green, give Shaquem Griffin, give Clowney, give them a chance to get to the quarterback, but you've got to jam those wide receivers off the line. If you sit there and you play 5 yards off and you give them those crossing routes all day long, you're never going to stop Jimmy G, because he just doesn't throw the ball over 15 yards. Once out of every 15 throws, he throws over 15 yards. Whereas in the same range, Russell Wilson does it like 5 or 6 times. So Jimmy G is all about those short, quick passes. If you can jam them at the top, slow them down, you've got a chance. But you've got to give your D-line a chance to get there. And if you're not going to jam them, could be a long day.
Yeah, looking at you, Trey Flowers.
Trey Flowers, Ugo Amadi, Akeem King, whoever's playing that nickel. If it's a linebacker that's in there, you've got to jam them at the line. You can't play 5 yards off. So here's a question for you. Who is more likely in NFC to pull off the upset? Panthers or Lions? Packers play the Lions, Saints play the Panthers. Who's more likely to pull the upset?
I don't think either one.
I'm not liking the odds for either one. Especially, I think Carolina, they're probably still going with Will Grier, and Detroit's going with David Blau.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
I can't see much optimism here, but I'd take a 3 seed over 5 seed. Give me the home game.
Well, as we were talking about, if we were going on the road, we would much prefer to go to Philadelphia than to Dallas. Does that continue to hold true?
At this point, I might actually almost flip that, because I don't think the Cowboys have anything. Maybe they get there and that juices them up, but I don't see that the Cowboys have anything left.
Because I think the Seahawks need the easiest opponent we could possibly match up against. I mean, this is great that we're in the playoffs, yay, but we're not a championship caliber team at this point. We're just too damaged, and this ship is sinking. It's not going to make it back. And do you really feel that this is a Super Bowl caliber team, especially one having to go on the road through the playoffs?
I don't think the road part scares me as much as it used to, because if you look at it, I mean, they went 7-1 on the road. Every time they went to the 1 o'clock or the 10 a.m. start time, they won. So the road, I don't think, is a big deal to them. I think they've proven that this year, being 7-1. I don't think that matters as much.
Okay. But it's still the playoffs against the best teams. This isn't your pansy low level, fighting for the first overall pick.
Say we don't get the
tanking for Tua.
Say we're the 5 seed, right? So 49ers beat us, they get one of the top 2 seeds. It doesn't even matter what the other teams happen.
Yeah.
If they win out, they win. They are guaranteed a bye week.
Yeah.
So that would bump, I believe, the Saints to the 3. If all 3 of those teams won, the Niners, the Saints, and the
Doesn't
Packers,
matter. We're 5, so we go to 4. No matter who 4 is, and 4 is going to be the East. No matter what.
Are we for sure locked in? We can't get the 6?
No, because
I think that's right. I think we could only get the 1, 2, 3, or 5. I don't think
because we beat the Vikings, and the best they can do is tie us.
Yeah.
They can go 11-5. We go 11-5. We beat them.
So yeah. So if we lose, then we play the winner of the East, and if we win, probably play the Vikings. More than likely, right? Because we'd be the 3.
We would end up the 3 seed, and so we would face off against the 6, which would be the Vikings. in Seattle. So would you rather face off against the Vikings in Seattle or the Eagles or Cowboys on the road?
I would take a less talented Eagles team.
Yeah. Me too. Because beyond that,
I had to choose. But
as a 3 seed, you're always going to be on the road after that, unless you end up against a lower seed, which probably not in the championship. So it's like if you can't get home field throughout, then don't bother. It's just one game.
Yeah.
And if your road opponent is Philadelphia or Dallas, I really wanted them to win the division with a losing record just so people could stop complaining about the Seahawks doing it. Or it's like, well, it's happened that one time.
That is true. I actually thought a couple of weeks ago that it was going to be 6-9 teams winning this division because the teams are just trash, but the Eagles have kind of caught fire here.
Why does Dallas not use Zeke more?
Because it's the NFL thing where it's like, we've got to pass. We've got a quarterback and we've got to pass. Got to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. No, you've got the premier running back in the whole league.
And you're paying him.
And you're paying him. Why are you not giving him the ball 20 times every game? Every game.
Yeah,
20 plus times.
He's got little chubby cheeks. He should be fed like he's like a squirrel.
That's how you break the big runs too in the fourth quarter. Is you wear them down.
And he has the speed to go to the house where a lot of guys don't. Chris Carson doesn't. He breaks through, but he doesn't.
Yeah, Chris Carson's got that
slow.
8 to 12 yard burst.
Yeah.
But getting past that safety is not happening. Even if he does, he's not getting. I mean, he ripped off that 160-yard run, and I think he's got a couple 25 yards. But for the most part, his damage is really in that 7 to 12 range. He can get those pretty much.
Yeah, he can turn the corner real well, stiff arms.
Especially those pitches to the side.
Yeah.
He's got that first step. It's just that next year he doesn't have. That's going to be a question mark going into next year is what do they do at running back? Because Rashad Penny, Chris Carson, they're talking about 8 months, same as Lano Hill.
Wow.
So you're talking going into training camp next year, not really knowing Carson, and Penny is not going to be healthy to start the year. What do you have at running back now? You were depending on those two guys late in the season, and you're going to start next season with neither of those guys.
Welcome to the Travis Homer era. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's a good question. And
we'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah, that question will be answered later when
I guess
talk
they're
NFL draft stuff.
Probably going. My guess is they're probably going to have to sign some veteran
NFL
here.
Offseason. Yeah, do you spend another draft pick? Probably not a first rounder, but maybe a second, third rounder. Get a good running back, or clearly they know how to find. Well, they can find running backs later on with Chris Carson and with others.
Don't be surprised if they draft another one because, I mean, like I said, what do you got going into next season? I don't think you're going to have Carson or Penny. Yeah. Penny's is much more severe than ACL is what they're saying. Out of the playoff teams in NFC, do you see any of the playoff teams losing? The Vikings playing the Bears. Does Trubisky pull that one off?
No.
The Panthers beat the Saints.
No.
Is there any NFC team that's going to
besides
lose?
The Seahawks? No. I would not put money on my team.
I think it's going to be another close game. Last person to have the ball. If Russell Wilson's got the ball at the end with a chance to win, that's all you can look for. Give Russell Wilson the ball at the end because there's no one better when the game's on the line.
You're expecting some beast magic.
I'm really not expecting Marshawn Lynch more than to get 10 to 12 carries and maybe 40, 50 yards. I'm not expecting magic. I do expect he'll find the end zone.
Then Russell Wilson's going to be magic.
Someone
has to be.
Russell Wilson is going to have to be magic. Tyler Lockett is going to have to be magic. DK Metcalf is not going to be able to drop balls. He's going to have to make some hard catches. There's no doubt. You're going to have your offense step up and come up with big plays here. They're going to have to protect Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson is going to have a big game. Can Russell Wilson pull off the magic? He doesn't have to throw 40 times. He's capable of getting 300 plus yards, 350 yards on less than 35 throws. He's done it before this year. He doesn't need to throw that many times. They're very good at getting their big plays, designing them very well. If they're going to win, and they are playing at home, so they do have that advantage, they went down to San Francisco and beat them. but that was a little bit more banged up 49er team who didn't have Emmanuel Sanders and lost Kittle partway through, or Kittle didn't even play.
Kittle didn't play. Manny Sanders went out real early.
So we'll see. If they can get Garoppolo off his feet and don't let him get set, they've got a chance. But they've got to play physical on the cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be Pete Carroll's style. He's never really been one that's press corner, press coverage. He's more about playing the 2-3 cover and, giving those people the 5 yards all day long and making you drive up and down the field. So, playoff predictions. Let's start in the AFC. Who do you see it being chalk going through the playoffs, or who's the one team you're going to pick that's going to pull off an upset?
In the AFC?
In the AFC. Who's going to pull off the upset? We know 5 of the teams are in. We don't know the 6th team, so,
I think the Bills have a chance. A team that runs the ball as effectively as they do, they play good defense. That team can always win on the road in tough conditions. They can just suffocate you because you never get the ball. And if you don't get the ball, you don't get to score. And so, or it's very difficult to score. So
are we looking at probably a Bills-Texans? Because Patriots and Ravens get a bye. Chiefs are the 3, so they're going to get whoever the 6 is. And the Texans are probably playing the Bills, right? So they're going to go. Buffalo's going to go to Houston.
Yeah, the Bills going to the Texans. I think the Bills have an excellent shot at winning that game. And I even think the Titans, perhaps, the Titans going to the Chiefs. I think the Titans could win that game too.
Titans, if Derrick Henry is healthy, could challenge the Chiefs. Chiefs struggle run coverage, run defense, and if you can keep Mahomes off the field, you've got a chance. And they're not asking Tannehill to throw the ball 40 times a game. They're asking him to throw 25, 30 times a game, and they're really just leaning on Henry. So Henry's a free agent at the end of the year. They might just want to use Henry up for everything he's got.
Yeah, they've somehow it took them this long to figure out that Derrick Henry is good, and they should use him more.
They're just doing what we've said that he should be doing all year long, right? Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Get more balance, not just throw the ball,
It works. I don't know what to tell you guys.
So in the NFC, who is the team that's likely to pull the upset off? We know the 6 teams here. It's a little bit question about who plays who, just depending on what happens in the Sunday night game.
I think any team, it's outside of the NFC East, of course. I don't think that they're very good. But I think the Packers, the Vikings, the Saints, the Niners, the Seahawks, any of them could go all the way.
I do think it's kind of like an any given Sunday in the NFC. You're right. Any of the top 5 teams, or any of the 6, I guess 6 minus the whoever wins the NFC East. The
6
NFC
minus
East,
the least.
Has a chance to go and win 3 games. Maybe less the Vikings, because it just doesn't seem like Kirk Cousins can win the big game.
He does seem to struggle a lot.
I mean,
he lost Monday Night
Football. Can't win a Monday night game. Right? He's like 0-8 or 0-9.
0-9 now.
In his career on Monday night, I'm like, come on, man, win one, right? I mean, at least do something. I mean, it just gives me no faith that he can win any of these playoff games, even though they've got talent with.
He seems like a good guy, too.
He does seem like a good guy. He's getting paid like a really good guy. I mean, $28 million.
He should. I'd like to see the Vikings beat the Packers. I'd like to see the Packers end up the 3 seed. The Vikings go and beat the Packers in Green Bay in the playoffs. Kirk Cousins leading them to victory. Skull clapping and everything up there in Cheesehead land.
Yeah, it is a possible matchup, right? If
things shake out the right way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how tiebreakers work between the Saints and the Packers. Even if the 49ers win, they are the 1, and then Saints and the Packers win. I don't know who wins that tiebreaker. One of them is going to fall to the 3 seed. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. One of those teams is not getting a bye, because either the Seahawks or the 49ers are getting a bye. One of those teams is left out in the cold no matter what happens come Sunday.
Yeah, too bad.
Would you rather not have to go to Green Bay, or would you rather not play Drew Brees in the Superdome?
If I had any faith that someone could just cover Michael Thomas, then I would pick going against the Saints, because they are just Brees to Thomas, and that's it. They don't do anything else. Even Kamara's taken a back seat to things.
Oh, yeah, he set the single-season record that hadn't been touched in, like, years, right? I mean...
Marvin Harrison?
Yeah.
The last one.
I don't know what he ended up with. Something like 150-some catches or something.
Yeah, he broke that record pretty easily.
I mean, he broke it with a game to go. I mean, he's going into this already had broken the record.
Yeah, that's insane. And he didn't even have Drew Brees for half the season.
Yeah.
He had Teddy Bridgewater, and he was still great. And it seems like the Saints have figured out their offensive problems that they were experiencing after Drew Brees came back. I'm not a fan of going up against any of these teams because right now I think the Seahawks are just so beat up. It's jading my expectations of what I think the Seahawks could do. So
we at least know
there
that we
is
get
no
one playoff game.
There are no good choices except facing off against the Eagles or the Cowboys. After that, they're all bad, and we're probably on the wrong side of things because, one, we're on the road, which, sure, you might not matter that much to us, but it's still during the playoffs against the best teams, and we're not going to get any healthier anytime soon. Not healthy enough, anyway.
The best case scenario is somehow you pull off the win Sunday and you get that bye week. That's what this team really needs. Somehow they've got to... You're hoping that Marshawn Lynch, that shot in the arm, is going to help.
Yeah, fresh legs. He's like 40.
You know,
not 40, but
I'm not expecting Marshawn Lynch to come out and give you 100 yards. If you're expecting him to give you 100 yards, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. I mean, I suppose he could break one, and maybe he does, but if he gives you 50 yards and a score, and he helps block to protect Wilson, or, you know, Turbin comes in and he helps block to protect Wilson, that banged up O-line, if you can pull off the win and get Dwayne Brown back, that makes things a lot more rosier.
Well, it will be better. It's still not... You're missing so many other pieces that you were really counting on going into the playoffs.
If you could beat 49ers, you're going to be really healthy after that bye week. You will for sure have Diggs back. You'll give Clowney a week to rest. Kendricks will be rested.
Sure, but you're still missing another receiver. I mean, sure, Malik Turner could be on his way back if you were to give it a week. Yeah, you'll be healthier, but I still think the Seahawks we've had a fantastic season. I don't think the Seahawks from the beginning were a championship level team.
Maybe not, but I don't know that there are any teams out there that are championship teams. They're all kind of flawed. Green Bay is not a great team. I suppose the Saints are probably the closest to a championship team.
The Saints are fantastic, and the 49ers are playing really, really well.
The 49ers are playing well, but I don't think they're playing as good as they were. During that 3-game stretch where they went up against Baltimore, Green Bay, and the Saints, and they pulled 2 of them out and they lost. They almost got all 3, right? But they came out of that and they were a little sidetracked. Like, they came down from a high. Like, I mean, they lost to the Falcons and then they struggled against the Rams. So
the Rams have a lot of talent. They're not some.
But they did lose to the Falcons. They did lose
Falcons,
a 10
The Falcons
point...
are 6-9, man. They're actually from where they were when the Seahawks faced off against them. It's like we gave them a jump start. We gave them a confidence boost. Like, hey, good job on that second half. You almost got us.
Go save Dan Quinn's job, right?
Yeah, do it for Quinn.
I do think Dan Quinn is going to stay. I think.
Yeah, that's something that we need to talk about before it happens, before the Monday Massacre. Who's getting canned?
Who's getting canned? So if we go down the bottom, if we just start here, Arizona's safe, the Rams are safe. No one in the West is losing their coach. Panthers have already fired their coach, so they'll be looking. I think Dan Quinn stays. Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians, that's an interesting one.
I think he stays because they just brought him on last year.
Yeah, but with his age, I don't know that he was ever going to be. Is he more than a 2-year fit? I don't know. They're 7-8 with Jameis Winston, who throws more. How are they have 7 wins when he leads the league in interception by like 4 miles? There's no one even close to him. He's like 10 interceptions clear of the next closest quarterback. He turns the ball over so much, and yet they've got 7 wins.
They score. He has a gunslinger mentality.
So But them being 7-8, he's probably safe. So there's probably, you got the Panthers. The Lions already said that they're bringing back their coach. The Bears aren't making a change. The Vikings aren't making a change. Obviously, the Packers aren't making a change. The Redskins, Giants, Cowboys, maybe even if the Eagles lose. All 4 of the NFC East, they could all be looking for new coaches.
Yeah, they all kind of need to. I mean, Jerry Jones should fire himself.
You got the AFC. Yeah, the Chargers have really kind of underachieved under Anthony Lynn, so I would say that there is a chance that with them being 5-10 and at the bottom there of that division.
Didn't they just bring him in, though?
A couple years ago.
Oh, a couple years. Shows you how much I pay attention to the LA Chargers. Go back to San Diego, where you belong, please.
So the Chargers are definitely candidates to make a change. I think the Broncos, they probably stay the course. They've had so many injuries. Quarterbacks, they've kind of find it with Drew Lock. I think they give their coach one more year.
Quick question, quick aside there. Drew Lock, do you think he is the answer in Denver?
Whether he's the answer or not, he's going to be given the chance to play next year. He's going to go in.
But what's your initial impression of him?
Initial impression is I like him. I think he can be...
Did Elway finally do it?
I don't think Elway had anything to do with it. I think he may have stumbled onto one here. Is Drew Lock a top-end quarterback? Probably not. But is he someone that can be in that, maybe in his peak years, anywhere from 8 to 12? It's possible.
Oh, so he's going to have Tony Romo success.
I think he can have some success. And
make the playoffs.
And make the playoffs. And, I think with the pieces around him, they could make some noise. So...
He'll be a good broadcaster one day.
Outside of the AFC West, only the Chargers maybe make a move. The Jaguars are definitely firing everybody. They've already fired Coughlin. They are going to go, and they're going to Doug Marrone go. The Colts are going to bring back their coach. The Titans have been on a roll. They're going to bring back. The Texans obviously make no change. The Bengals, it was Zach Taylor. I can't imagine they're going to can him after 1 year, but the Bengals are pretty... But the Bengals stuck with Marvin Lewis forever, so I don't think after 1 year
they're a cheap-ass organization.
So I'm going to say that the Bengals stay there. The Browns should fire Freddie Kitchens. The more and more I read, the more and more I think he's going to stay. If they win Sunday, it will definitely help. Be 7-9, but I think he stays. Tomlin is safe unless the...
Tomlin's absolutely safe. Tomlin's one of the best coaches in football.
Pittsburgh is just tired of him. But he's done such a masterful job with this team this year with all the injuries, not having
with
a
the
running
talent
back.
Purge that has happened over the last few seasons.
They start off like 1-3 or 1-4.
Yeah.
And he's managed to keep their teams
playoff
in
relevant.
Games. Without having a quarterback or a running back for the most part of it. The Ravens aren't making a change. The Dolphins aren't making a change. I think everybody in the East, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Jets, I think are all going to stay the course. So what we have, the Jaguars and the Chargers and everybody in the NFC East possibly. And then Carolina's obviously making a change they've already announced. I think there could be 6 coaches. Maybe there's a surprise in there. So somewhere between 5 and 7 coaches that lose their job Monday morning. Which seems about average, right? I think it's like six new coaches every year.
That feels about right.
But you look at the teams that are always up here at the top. Consistency, right? They don't make these changes. A lot of the problem is these organizations are too quick to jump the gun, right?
Well, they need to actually... look higher in the trees to get rid of the right people and bring in better people. They are turning over their lower level employees, but the thing that's been consistent is the losing and usually the top of the executive tree. And those are the guys that keep making the decisions on who to bring in.
There could be a surprise team there. The Colts, now that I think about it, the Colts might make a change. Their owner came out and said that he's not happy with Brissett.
Shouldn't be. Brissett's not that good.
And that they are going to look in the draft to, give him competition or replace him.
Yeah.
They may make a change. They really struggled down the stretch when it looked like they were locked to make the playoffs, and now they'd have to win and hope
Yeah, and they got a lot of injuries to deal with as well, but they are a talented team.
I'm going to go on the record saying there's going to be 7 coaches fired. That's my number right there. I'm going to give you 7.
All right.
We'll see how many coaches actually get fired Monday morning, but I'm going to go with 7. And I'm going to put the Colts as the one team that, while they had an okay season, I think they might just jump the gun and decide they want to go in a different direction and might make the move. There's always a surprise team.
Do you think that's a wise move?
At this point, if you're going to fire the coach, then you fire the GM too, and you just make a fresh start. Make the fresh start from the top down, get new decision makers in there, and change the culture. If you're going to fire one, fire them both. Bring in a GM, let him pick his coach.
When things aren't working well, you need continuity, but you also need collaboration at the top, and so many guys don't seem to know how to collaborate well. Well, they bring in a coach, and they're just like, you got to do it this way, and coach is like, no, I need these guys, and then GM doesn't go get those guys. I think that's one of the things that John Schneider and Pete Carroll have done so well. It's why the Seahawks have had so much success over the past 10 years, is because of the collaboration they have with players, player acquisition, player development, scheme, finding the guys that do the right things. And it seems like these other organizations just don't have that type of chemistry at the top of their organization amongst the personnel decision makers.
It's fair. You do have to, like I said, you look at the teams that are constantly on the top here, right? The Saints had constant thing with their GM and Peyton for a long time. The Seahawks have had Carroll and Schneider. The Packers, they had McCarthy and Thompson for a long time, and now they've got LaFleur. You just look at these teams Belichick, teams that have constant, they know what they're doing, they know how to run their organization, where all these other teams seem to be left guessing.
On Sunday evening, we'll do a recording with a recap of all of this week's games and our thoughts on the playoffs. Yeah, so follow us on Facebook, GreyVillain Podcast, Twitter, @GreyVillainPod. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Ask us questions if you got any questions about these games, and we will be sure to answer them. And
for one final parting shot for my son Daniel, who's a big 49er fan, they're going down.
See, I hope that the Niners lose. I'm not sure that they will, though. I think the Seahawks are kind of boned. But we'll see what happens. Go Hawks. All right, we're out.